Hi, Facebook friends. Helen Archontou here, CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. So happy to have some time with you on this Tuesday afternoon. It is a new week with lots of great conversations on YWTV that's all about educating and inspiring you. And I'm so excited about today's show. I happen to know that this effort was going on in Teaneck, and I was so happy to see that it had come to fruition. And I wanted to share it with all of you out there because I wanted you to hear how these wonderful guests of mine today made this happen. And I want you to think about how you can make it happen in your towns as well. So with that, let's talk about the Black Lives Matter mural that was painted in Teaneck. As you know, YWCA is about educating, YWTV is about educating and inspiring, and this is an inspiring conversation today. We had a few really key members of our Teaneck community who came together and have been working on providing education around racial justice issues in their community. After the death of George Floyd, several Teaneck residents, with the help of local community organizers, had hoped to paint a mural to memorialize his death and those of other Black people who were impacted by violence. Well, their initial vision for this mural had to change and for the project had to change, but their goal of showcasing the Black Lives Matter movement and demonstrating the township's commitment to racial justice never wavered. And that's really clear by the outcome that they were able to have with their efforts. So today, I'm so happy to have some local activists and leaders that were instrumental in creating this wonderful visual in the Teaneck community to talk with us about how they organized this effort and how they got this mural launched. And throughout this, we're going to show some pictures of what the mural looks like as we're talking as well. But I want to start by introducing you to my wonderful guests today. So with us, in no particular order, other than what I have down on my notes, but all important in this process. I'm grateful to have Javalda Powell with us. She is the co-founder and CEO of Teaneck Comes Together, Inc., which is a 501c3 organization that hosts events for Teaneck teens and for their parents. It facilitates a teen internship program, and it provides networking and service opportunities for young adults. Ms. Powell has worked for the Teaneck Public Schools for over 15 years and currently serves as the middle school behaviorist at the Benjamin Franklin Middle School. She is also on the leadership team for the Teaneck's Black Lives Matter Mural Committee. Next, I have with us Odein Karibi-Whyte. He is a lifelong resident of Teaneck and class of 2020 Teaneck High School graduate. Over the course of his high school career, he was involved in numerous clubs and activities such as the Black Youth Organization, the Peer Leadership Mentorship Program, and he founded the Music Production Club. During the summer of 2020, his community involvement increased, and he became a leader within the Teaneck's Black Lives Matter Mural Committee and co-founder of the Teaneck Youth Initiative. And he's currently serving as the chief secretary and the liaison of that group. And last but not least, I'm so grateful to have Kasai Sanchez, a 10th grader at Teaneck High School, join us. She is sophomore class president. I was sophomore class president too, Kasai. Good job. She is a member of the Superintendent When Student Leads Committee, and she is on the Teaneck Board of Community Relations. Kasai advocates for students' behalf in an effort to create improvements that are beneficial to them as the vice president of the Teaneck Youth Advisory Board. Additionally, she advocates for justice through the BLM X Teaneck group, as well as one of the Teaneck BLM Mural Committee leaders and organizers. Kasai also fights against gun violence, as she is a co-leader of Students Demand Action, Bergen, and she's been awarded the Mayor Lizette Phillips Parker Award and the Matthew Feldman Community Relations Award. Those were two pretty outstanding individuals, and to get awards in their name is a true testament. Well, I am so impressed by all three of you, and I'm so grateful that you could join us today. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it. First and foremost, let's start with you, Javalda. Tell us a little bit about the initial project and how it got started and how it evolved and you were able to come together and make it happen.
Sure. I am a longtime resident of Teaneck, and I'm kind of known as a resource person. So when people want to get something done and figure out how do we do this, I get phone calls. And then I reach out to the people I know in town that know a lot about how to get things done. And so I did receive a call from someone, Shanae Clark, who was a former basketball coach for the girls basketball team at Teaneck High School. And she said, I don't think there are any murals in Bergen County. And, what are the young people in Teaneck doing? What are the adults in Teaneck doing about this movement? And I said, you know what? All that I know that's going on is kind of quiet. People are dealing with the pandemic. There are people that I know that are really suffering right now. And kind of the way of trying to heal from some of that is taking action on the things that we can take action on. So I said, let me see who would be interested in getting it done. If it can be done in Bergen County, why not Teaneck? And so I reached out to Councilwoman Javon Romney-Rice, and I reached out to Christine Mayers, who is one of the outstanding educators at Teaneck High School and advisor to a bunch of clubs and organizations, including the Black Youth Organization. And she got back to me and said, you know what? Our young people want this. They're ready. And I said, okay, let's have a meeting. So, just reaching out to people and figuring out, first of all, is there the desire to push for it? Because we know it's more than likely going to be a push. And, can we do it? And so, of course, we can do it. We can do anything, we put our minds to. And these young people are really the impetus for it. They're amazing in all that they do. So they help push me.
I have to say, I've had the pleasure over these last few months that we've started YWTV since March to talk to so many young people in our community and watch the work that's being done. And it really it's really inspirational, and it kicks my butt in gear. Because as Javalda, when those of us are out there trying to be supporting of different issues, it gets overwhelming at times and you get tired. But I know you all re-energize me every time I see something that you're doing and reinforces my commitment to everything that I do. And so grateful for you and all the wonderful mentors and leaders that you've had that helped bring you to us. So with that, let's talk about some of the obstacles and challenges that you had getting this going. Because again, my hope is that other people hear this conversation and think about how they can do this in their communities, because we should have something like this everywhere, in every town. It's an important, it's important. And I think also it's great to hear the process that you as a community went through, to make it happen. So let's talk about the obstacles. What were some of them, and how were you able to, get through them?
Well, they were plentiful. And what it is we know that institutional racism exists. And it sets up a lot of obstacles for making any kind of real change. And so in order to combat it, first of all, we have to know what it is that we're dealing with. And what are the procedures, the policies that are in place already? And then how can we go about mitigating some of those obstacles? So we had conversations. We got together. Actually, Councilwoman Javon Romney-Rice, which we didn't know at the time, she was getting emails and calls from people saying, okay, what's Teaneck doing? Will there be a Black Lives Matter mural? So the town people in Teaneck wanted this. Odein can speak to the fact that he started up a petition. And I don't know, Odein, how many signatures ended up on that petition?
Last time I checked, we had at least 3,000.
Yeah, I think it was even closer to 3,500 or something like that. And these are, community members that said, no, this has to happen. But that didn't make it happen. We had to continue to go to town council meetings, become more educated about the political process, and really try to understand why it is that members of our town council did not want to support it. And the reasons are varied, I believe, and we really have not, in some cases, gotten answers to that. So it happened because we continued to meet. Mayor Dunleavy was willing to meet with our committee. The town manager was willing to try to support in any way he can in terms of setting up the meetings and keeping the communication going. So we would have meetings and discuss it and talk about, okay, what are some issues that people are having with this? And to be 100% honest, I believe some just weren't in line, felt that the Black Lives Matter movement was more of a political issue and may have been scared of falling on one side or the other politically and what, the ramifications may be for that. But with all that's going on, and I mean, I was just looking this week, police in the US killed 165 Black people in the first 8 months of 2020. And those are cases that are documented. There are others, I'm sure, that are not documented. And the Louisville mayor has declared that racism as a public health crisis, and we know that to be true. Yeah. So when more and more of our allies began to speak out about it after the murder of George Floyd, we couldn't sweep this under the rug. So whatever issues they may have had politically or whatever thoughts they may have had on it, we needed to bring the awareness to our leaders. And sometimes you have to speak truth to power. And that's what, the committee did. And it's a committee of about 12 to 15 people, but led by these young people.
That's wonderful. So from the start of kind of inception of the thought of doing it to kind of standing in front of the finished product and taking that wonderful photo that it was done, how much time went from point A to point B? Just curious to hear.
So I know we started initially about mid-July, and then we finally got it towards the end of October. So it's actually quite a long process. I know we all didn't expect it to go that long.
Yeah.
But because of what Ms. Powell just talked about, the constant meetings we had to have just to get the council and the leaders to really recognize the importance of this, and that it goes beyond just a political statement, because really saying Black Lives Matter shouldn't be and isn't a political statement. It's a statement of human rights, and it should be something that's obvious. And that's kind of what we wanted to portray with this. And yeah, just along the process, we had to meet several times over, the logistics of it, where we wanted it to be, and then the response and dealing with the council's response, searching up the potential legal issues that may arise, and even coming up with designs was something that we had to deal with. And I'm glad that we finally came up with a beautiful design like this, but it was definitely.
Yeah. And here it is, just for our viewers to see it in all of its glory. I mean, how stunning is this? Can you speak to the design a little bit and tell us what went into the different pieces that are represented here? I know the answer, but just for our viewers so that they know.
Yes, I could answer that. So two of our non-negotiables for the mural, well, the first one was to have the actual words Black Lives Matter. And the second one was to have Philip Pennell's name on it, which is a young man who was shot and killed in Teaneck back in 1990. And those were two of our non-negotiables. But during the process of getting the mural and actually seeing what we had to do in the response from the council, we decided that after hearing, that the council wouldn't approve of the mural with Philip Pennell's name on it, we collectively decided that we want to get something done, and we want to actually see a mural in Teaneck and still find a way to honor Philip Pennell. So when it came to the design, we wanted to make sure that it was as inclusive as possible while still holding true to the statement of Black Lives Matter. So the red, black, and green for the B, and then we had the L, which represents all of our LGBTQIA+ members of the community. and the American flag for the M, we talked about in the meeting, because we want to recognize and identify and specify that, Black Lives Matter in America. And that's really what the M was for. But I know, Kasai, you can definitely share some more.
Yeah, I'd love to expand on that. For me, it's kind of like what Odein said. It definitely goes to represent everyone. That's everyone who identifies as Black or African American. I don't think it in any means does it like deny our roots or history, and that's something that I really like, which is shown in the B for like all of Africa, the Pan-African flag, of course. The M, where we are right now, of course, America. And then the L, we don't discriminate. It doesn't matter like your sexual orientation in general. That's not something that I guess matters in this case. It's just about all Black lives. I think that's important to just show and demonstrate, because I think a lot of times people like to go astray or just talk about one specific group of people, but not in this case.
Yeah,
and we also know with the LGBTQIA plus that our transgender brothers and sisters are suffering as well, and it's a very high rate of death within that community. So it's all Black Lives Matter.
Well, I'm grateful that you gave that level of detail of the representation here, because I think it's important for people to understand that there was so much thought put into every detail of this amazing mural that you all got together. So, more questions about the mural that I want to talk to our two youth activists a little bit about, their inspiration. But another question about the mural. So tell us, it's up now, but can you explain what's going on in your community in terms of it? Is this a permanent structure? Is it something, that you're still working on, keeping around permanent? Could you share a little bit about the status of it?
Absolutely. This is by no means something that's permanent. I think we're still fighting. It's still, constant meetings about how we're going to keep it up. And that's definitely a struggle. It's something that we're definitely still fighting about. I think Odein can also speak more about that. But no, by no means is it permanent right now or set in stone.
And was that the arrangement that you made with, to be able to get it created, that it would be up for a time-limited period of time?
Unfortunately, we did have to compromise some of our, I guess, core values or core things that we wanted to see happen with it.
But your committee would like to see this be something permanent in your community.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about the process you're going through now to try to make that happen, and how our viewers can help.
I could definitely share. Actually, no, Ms. Powell, you go ahead. I'll go after.
I see to you, Odein. Go ahead.
So right now we're still kind of going through the similar process that we went through initially to make sure that this mural stays permanent, because I don't really see the reason why it wouldn't. Because Black Lives Matter is a statement that is supposed to stay permanent forever. So we want the same for this mural, and we're currently coming up with
Maybe someone else can jump in. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, did I cut out?
Yes, you're cutting out.
Cutting in and out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, try joining us. Tell us again.
Testing. Can you hear me?
You seem to be more stable at this point. So try telling us again. If not, we'll have one of the others jump in.
Okay. So yeah, right now we're going through a similar process that we went through initially. We're just getting a petition going right now. So that's definitely one way you all can help, just to show that there's still support for this mural, not only just to get it done initially, but to have it stay permanently. And we're still going through the meetings with the council and everything to generate that.
So where can people get access to your petition?
So our petition will be on change.org.
Okay.
Similar to, I'll definitely email it to you, and then we could.
What would be great, Odein, if you could drop it in the comments on our Facebook feed after you have the link there, and we can make sure that our viewers can go back and then sign on to support. And also, please send it to us at the YW. We'll share it with our Racial Justice Committee also.
And aside from the petition, we also have a GoFundMe for the mural. And that's also important to mention. I can also email that to you. I'd be happy.
That would be great. And if anyone wants to drop the information about the GoFundMe into the comments, that would be wonderful too, so that people know how to support this effort.
Absolutely.
And you know what? There's something that's going on actually today. We have the town council meeting today. The mural was, the resolution was for 90 days with the possibility of another 90-day extension, which would take us into April. So today it's on the agenda for the Teaneck Township for town council to extend it for another 90 days. So if, you know, I think I put the link in for, it's teanecknj.gov, where there would be a link to the town council meeting at 7 o'clock tonight if anyone wants to join on. But we don't anticipate having an issue with the additional 90 days because we've been told that the council was in support of an additional 90 days.
Wonderful.
It's more of for the permanency of it. So in April, why would you, you know, completely paint over it at that point? So we're petitioning to have it left where it is permanently, while also working on other murals as well. And maybe
that's wonderful to hear that they're supportive of keeping it through April. And, you know, we definitely can make sure that our viewers know how to support through the GoFundMe and also sign the petition to be able to keep it long term. We do have a question from a viewer who's asking, a good friend of the YW, Libby Klein. She's asking, I've seen other Black Lives Matter murals that have much artwork filling in the yellow letters. Did the committee consider other versions? How did you settle on this? I know we talked about the 3 letters that are colored in and what that symbolizes. Did you consider doing any other letters with more artwork?
Right, there were other designs that were proposed, but as a committee, we talked this through and we wanted it to be in line with many of the other murals around the country and actually in the world. And that yellow, the lettering is kind of consistent throughout. So we wanted it to look similar to some of the other ones, but making sure that we also made statements in some of the other letters. And this isn't the only mural that we're advocating for. We've also...
Right. Tell us a little bit about what else is on your agenda from a mural perspective in your community.
Kasai or Odein, you want to weigh in?
So we were actually also able to speak with Ms. Dr. Irving, who is the superintendent of the schools, and we had an amazing meeting with him and others just about how we can implement another mural by Teaneck High School or in Teaneck High School. Right now we're still talking about the location and everything like that. It was a super easy meeting. It was a super easy process to go into, and we're really grateful for that. But yeah, definitely another mural.
That's exciting. And tell me, how have you found the people that are creating the mural? I mean, the actual design and the painting. Who came up with that? How did you commission those folks? And this new mural that you're thinking of doing, where are you getting the artistic design from and the actual painting apart?
On our committee, we have a rock star. We have a lot of rock stars on our committee, but we have a rock star in Bonnie Savitz, who's a longtime Teaneck resident and a former educator, but also graphic designer, retired graphic designer. So she's been on the committee from the start, she and her husband, Steve. And so the actual design came out of a meeting where we just all were talking about what we wanted. And then Scott Pleasance, who's also a rock star on the committee, he came up with the design, the graphic, and then worked with Bonnie, and then they laid it out. So the community of Teaneck, over close to 200 people came out to paint the mural. And so it really was not done by one muralist, or it was the community that made this happen. And we're hoping for the same with the mural on Board of Ed property.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, this was such important information. Again, those of you watching, I hope that you take the time to share this broadcast with people in your communities to help organize creating similar efforts locally for yourselves. We've seen some of these pop up across New Jersey, And we definitely don't have enough yet. And, we need to see them in every community for sure. And it's wonderful to hear the process that you went through, although I know there are challenges that you hit along the way and you still, are working, towards your end goal. But, it's wonderful to hear so that others know, how to navigate. So a question for Kasai and Odein, we, as I said, at the YWCA of Northern New Jersey, connect and speak with so many young people in our community. And we keep seeing more and more young people learning how to use their voices and how to, take their feelings and thoughts and move them into action. Can you each share a little bit about yourselves and how you developed the skills and the, the commitment and, to move forward and become youth leaders yourselves? Because I want to make sure that other parents and other young people can hear your stories a little bit to help inspire them, because we know many people are thinking about what they want to say, but we want to help them grow to be able to be social justice activists as well. So either one of you start, whoever would like to do it.
I think I can definitely speak on that. I think you have to think to yourself, or at least what I think to myself is, where is silence going to get me? And I think that's such an important concept, because I think there's definitely a difference between being silent and thinking about what you're going to say and processing. And processing is also really important, but silence doesn't get us anywhere. It just keeps us in the same location. And if we're trying to move forward, silence is honestly not the way to go. I think channeling your pain and channeling your story and understanding other people's stories and then advocating for that, I think it's such a beautiful concept, because through that we're able to go places and get places and accomplish things that we want to accomplish and just see growth in general.
Well, that's great, great advice, and very powerful statement as well. Odein, please share from your perspective.
Got it. So actually, I'm glad Ms. Powell mentioned Ms. Mayers, actually, Christine Mayers. She was one of my teachers in high school my senior year for African American Studies, and also the BYO, Black Youth Organization. And it was through that club I feel like I gained a real desire not only to see social change in the country, but in my own community. And a similar quote to what Kasai said, something that motivates me a lot, which is, if not me, then who? If not now, then when?
Yes.
And a lot of our answers, a lot of the problems that we see can be potentially solved if we ask ourselves those questions. So that's something I try to keep in mind often, every day actually, because like as I said, silence won't really get us anywhere. And knowing the background information, which is something I learned in Miss Mayer's class as a history teacher, is extremely important to know how to attack certain problems. So really getting the context of the situation that you're in, and really finding a way to navigate it in our own individual way while also bringing others together is what really drives me.
Well, thank you. That was a perfect compliment to what Kasai shared too, the two of you together. And clearly you're resonating with our viewers. Willie Thornton is sharing the importance of overcoming silence and finding your voice to speak, for sure. So Javalda, a thought or question for you. You've been a longtime activist in your community, and not only activist, but community action. You've helped organize on so many different levels. How do you keep going? Obviously, you've seen a lot, and and it's been a battle. You're just this one project. You described, some of the challenges you've had. And I know this isn't the only time you've had challenges with efforts that you've, pushed forward. And, you mentioned systemic racism, which we know, is inbred in every system, unfortunately, that we have in this country. And we're working so hard to try to dismantle. How do you keep going? And what's some advice you have for, individuals that are, trying to stay the course? Or wanting to get involved, but not feel difficult staying connected to it because it is so many challenges.
I have to say, stay around people like Odein and Kasai. These young people really feed us the energy. And sometimes when you're kind of in the struggle for a while, you can get burnt out.
Yeah.
And you have to find ways of just being reinvigorated. And just what you just heard with Odein and Kasai is not hard to energize me when I'm around people like that. And I want to shout out some of the members of the committee. We've already mentioned some, but Willie Thornton on there, she's my mom, but she's definitely a powerful member of our committee.
Yeah.
Reggie Pittman, and you guys please help me out with some of the other, Natasha Pinnell, who's the sister of Philip Pinnell, and they have the Philip Pinnell Foundation and doing great work as well. There's so many people. Susan Harriet. I know I'm missing some, so I shouldn't have even started, but Shay Lewis also. Scott Pleasance, I said Bonnie and Steve Savitz. There's a whole committee of people out here that also energize us. So, you know, there's unity and numbers. We've just in doing this, other people have reached out, people that have been living in Teaneck for many years, just as I have, and we've never had real conversations until this moment. So just reaching out to people, we'd be surprised how much we have in common.
Well, it's wonderful to hear that, and a lot of your rock stars are chiming in on the comments, and grateful to you, Shay and Willie, and you know, we've got them on with us, and Rona Vega is
Rona
sending her blessing, and
so, Yvonne Witter as well.
Yes, Yvonne's on here as well, and Yvonne is definitely a champion for sure. We've at the YW been working with her for many years in terms of connecting to our youth, and so many amazing initiatives that she's headed up. Well, I just really want to thank you all, and I just want to make sure someone share the address of where the mural is, so in case people want to go visit it. This is a perfect time when you want a little, you know, when you want to get out of your house and safely, mask up, socially take a social distance visit, and drive to go see this wonderful mural. Let them know where they should go.
Yes, they should go to Palisade Avenue and Colonial Court in Teaneck. It is right across from the Rota Center, the Voti Park. And people are going there for to get out of the house, as you said, but also over the holidays. I know my family on Thanksgiving, we all went to the mural and took pictures. I know Rona Vega, I saw some posted on social media. There have been people who've gotten married at murals in different locations and things like that. So, you know, we've had a candlelight vigil there. There are all types of things that can happen on that site.
Well, for sure, it definitely is. It creates one more place for a community center, you know, for Teaneck. So, you know, grateful to all of you for your efforts and everyone else involved. I know that, you know, don't despair if you left a name out. We know that this was a team effort, and grateful to the entire team. Thank you all for your commitment to seeing this through, and know that we are, and again, I hope our viewers will have the links to be able to know how to connect to the information about the mural, the GoFundMe project, and we'll be dropping in the change.org petition as well. And we encourage everyone to not only support this effort, but again, think about how you can start efforts like this in your own community. And I can tell from the quality and respect I have for these leaders, they, I'm sure, would be happy to help anyone in any community mobilize and support creating a similar effort there.
It's really important that I shout out the Puffin Foundation. Who, they gave us a grant to help get this going. And when Kasai mentions a GoFundMe page, that's because we have another mural that we want to build. But Puffin did donate a significant amount to make sure that this mural got done. And we want to thank them. And the YWCA, the work you're doing, Helen, is amazing. That 21-day racial equity and social justice challenge, all of that, your things like this, it's really a huge bonus to us, an asset to our communities, and we really appreciate it.
Well, we stand with you. We will be pushing out support for keeping this to be a permanent effort and to create more murals like this in Teaneck and across all of our communities for sure. And definitely a shout out to the Puffin Foundation. They really have been leaders. I mean, we wouldn't have the Teaneck International Film Festival. I mean, they really have stood up for so many important social justice projects. That exist. And we're grateful for their support of that. I see we have Jeremy watching from Teaneck International Film Festival. Grateful to him as well. So with that, folks, I'm going to do this in a different order because of what we're talking about. But as those of you who are regulars on YWTV know, that Thursday is our Share the Mic Now, where the YWCA shares our YWTV platform with Black women in our community to be able to amplify their voices. And just coincidentally, it worked out that this week we are sharing the mic with Jervon Romney-Rice. And I am so happy to have her join us on the heels of this discussion so we can amplify the message here and also hear from her about her life experience around systemic racism and ways that we together as social justice warriors can work to dismantle it. And you mentioned the 21-day race challenge. We want everyone to be doing it. We would encourage the whole Teaneck school system. We have high schools that have started to do this challenge with their students. That might be another effort that you want to try to put through your Board of Education is getting them to support that happening and getting all of your teachers in your district to do it as well. And have your town council announce it and get all your community members to do it. We are very committed to racial equity in our community. And we do believe that it starts with education and learning and unlearning all the things necessary to get us all to a common space where we are working together toward it. So please, we have the link for the 21-day racial equity and social justice challenge if you have not done it. And with all of that, tomorrow on YWTV, it's about gift giving with giving back. This is a different holiday season. We've all, unfortunately, have dealt with a lot of trauma and loss over this time, in addition to just changing how we've lived. And I do believe that that is also reflected in our giving this year. So we wanted to encourage all of you to know about some giving that you can do that is socially conscious. And so we're excited to have Tevra Francis of Bergen and Color to join us and talk about Black and people of color businesses in our community that you can support to be able to do your gift giving, as well as our Bergen County freeholder, Tracy Zur, who created a wonderful list of opportunities for your shopping where you get wonderful gifts, but also great returns on your gift giving as well. So that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. If you're like me, you still have a lot of things left on your gift list. But do not despair. It turns out you were waiting for this show so that your gift giving could have even more of an impact. So please join us tomorrow to learn how you can do that. And this Friday, for any of our seniors in our community, as usual, once a month on Friday, we have Friendship Fridays. We are really working to end the isolation that a lot of seniors feel normally, especially during this time. So we encourage them to join us at 11:30 a.m. for a free conversation about how to prepare for health and well-being around the holidays. You just have to go to the YWCA Northern New Jersey's website. We'll also drop a link in here to register for that event. And with all of that, if you like what you see at YWTV and you like the work that we're doing at the YWCA, we do encourage you to think about, especially a year-end donation. If you're in the space that you're able to do that, you can donate by texting equality to 707070 or by going to our website at ywcannj.org/donate or by going to Facebook and doing it. There's many ways to support our work. It allows us to continue to share conversations like this and amplify important initiatives like this in our community. And we're so grateful to have the privilege of doing it. Folks, thank you so much for what you have done in your community. And thank you for not only doing it, but coming and sharing it with all of our viewers. I wish you all lots of luck and support. I stand with you personally. Our organization stands with you, to see through your next mural and keeping this one permanent. And I can see you have many of our viewers that stand with you as well. So, well, everyone have a great day. Stay healthy. And